strike at Nasser Hospital in the Gaza Strip, in which 5 journalists from various news outlets and organizations were killed. We have some statements now coming from world leaders. Germany has said it was shocked by the Israeli airstrikes on the hospital in Gaza that killed 20 people, including journalists and rescue workers, and called for an investigation. The German Foreign Ministry urged Israel to allow media access and protect journalists operating in the Strip. US President Donald Trump expressed displeasure while emphasizing the need to end the conflict. Trump also commented on the hostage situation, suggesting some remaining hostages may no longer be alive. Here is what he said.
I'm happy about it. I don't want to see it. At the same time, we have to end that whole nightmare. I'm the one that got the hostages out. I got them out.
British Foreign Secretary David Lammy also responded and said he was horrified by the strikes and called for an immediate ceasefire, stressing the protection of civilians, healthcare workers and journalists. Turkish President Erdogan has also condemned Israel for, quote, villainous attacks, blaming the Netanyahu government for continuing strikes that destroy humanity's basic values. Let's listen in to his direct statements.
İsrail'in bugün Gazze'deki Nasır Hastanesi'ne düzenlediği vahşi saldırıda 5'i gazeteci, en az 20 Filistinli şehit oldu. Gözü dönmüş Netanyahu hükümeti insanlık adına ne varsa yok etmek için cani saldırılarına aralıksız devam ediyor.
Now to Paris, French President Emmanuel Macron called the attacks intolerable, noting the deaths of at least 20 people, including journalists, and stressing that the need to safeguard civilians in Gaza. The Israeli military confirmed the strikes and said that an inquiry has been ordered. The IDF stressed it does not target journalists intentionally and regrets harm to civilians. We are now joined by Elon Pinkas. He is a former Israeli ambassador and he joins us live from Tel Aviv. Elon, thank you very much for joining us here on NewsX World. Pleasure to have your insight on this. The world is obviously reacting in shock to this attack. 5 journalists killed just a week after 6 the previous week. However, the reaction from Israel has been different. Last week, when prominent Al Jazeera journalists were killed, there were claims from the Israeli government that straight away that they were Hamas operatives working for Hamas. However, this response has been different. Israel actually has expressed regret in the deaths of these individuals. Is there a difference here? Why has this approach been taken? And what does this say and signify?
Well, to begin with, Thomas, very few in the world believed Israel last time when it came up with explanations and justifications. So the learning curve was put into use. And now, and in between the 2 incidents, you had world outrage and condemnations. And so the prime minister thought that if he just, apologizes and says it's an unfortunate mishap and that it was not intentional, et cetera, the criticism, the condemnations will go away. I doubt they will go away, because if Israel is indeed planning a larger scale operation in Gaza, this is going to happen again. In fact, it's been happening for the last 22, almost 23 months. So the difference between the reactions is only due to world condemnation and outrage. But I don't think it signals any change of policy.
I mean, some damning footage coming out. We're not allowed to run it here, however. There is a shot of a double tap that shows individuals helping the sign of the previous strike, and then once again a strike hitting those individuals that are at the site. What does this say about Israel's military tactics, especially now the entire world has seen this footage?
And imagine what could have happened had Gaza been open to world media. Here's my point, Thomas, and here's the novel idea. Do not shoot at hospitals. Okay, there's nothing in that hospital that equals or justifies the so-called collateral damage or the deaths of non-combatants and innocents. Medical crews, media crews, whatever. Just do not shoot at hospitals. Even if you have solid intelligence information that there are 10 or 20 Hamas terrorists in that hospital, leave it be. Do not shoot at hospitals. But Israel keeps on doing this again and again. Now, in this particular incident, look, I'm not versed on the exact details and operational considerations at that moment. It seems like someone was trigger happy. It seems that someone misidentified and fired at the wrong place at the wrong time. But again, that's an excuse. That's not a justification. Just do not shoot at hospitals. Even if this was a mishap, it's not justified.
Elon, do stay with us as we have some further updates from the crisis. We move over to Israel next, where protests